Hey everyone, welcome to the show. I have a quick story I want to share with you guys. This came out a few weeks back, but I'm just now having a chance to share it with you. So there's a MAGA couple that was just busted, like I said, a few weeks back, for using nonprofit money to fund their lavish lifestyle. I know that sounds familiar because it happens all the time now. But anyway, yeah, just like their dear leader, just like Cankles in Chief. Before I get into these details of the story, please do me a huge favor. Hit the subscribe button below. It's totally free for you to become a subscriber here on YouTube, and it really helps the show and the algorithm. So greatly appreciate it. And as always, to everybody who donates, everybody who's a monthly subscriber with, financial assistance, truly, truly, you are such a huge part of how this show keeps going. So greatly appreciate it. So here's the deal. Here's what happened with this couple. New York Attorney General Letitia James, who, by the way, was just indicted by Donald Trump's loser former personal attorney, who he now appointed after firing a guy who refused to do all of this and refused to be a part of the weaponization of Trump's attorney or Trump's Justice Department. Anyway, so Letitia James, who was just indicted for bogus reasons, she announced a few weeks back that there's a lawsuit that she's filed against a nonprofit organization and the founders of that organization. So their names are Peter and Lydia Brimelow, I think is how you pronounce it. This isn't just some random couple and some random nonprofit, though. So the Brimelows are the founders of a group called vdare. You may have heard of them. This is an anti-immigrant white nationalist organization. Peter Brimelow has proudly proclaimed himself to be the quote-unquote God uncle of the alt-right. So these people are not even trying to hide it. They're not even trying to, conceal their sick racist agenda. Of course, all of the worst people on the planet are involved with this, have contributed to this group. So it's impossible to feel empathy for these so-called victims that they stole money from. I mean, we're talking about people like Ann Coulter, right? The Koch brothers, the DeVos family. I mean, truly vile filth. Even David Duke, the former Grand Wizard of the KKK. I mean, that is who supports this organization, or used to. So again, for people who aren't familiar with Duke, he was literally a grand wizard of the KKK. What a moronic name that is, right? Grand Wizard. Like, they're so stupid. Anyway, the state of New York is suing vdare because the Attorney General is saying that the Brimelows used the nonprofit funds as a quote-unquote personal piggy bank. So the state alleges that the Brimelows siphoned off more than $1 million, and they used it to buy, get this, a 9,300 square foot castle in West Virginia. They also paid for all kinds of personal things, like they paid for club memberships. They were, doing all this extensive luxury travel, home renovations, all the typical, all what we see out of these MAGA nonprofits nonstop. They also allegedly made payments to themselves, including Peter, who got a $345,000 a year salary. So the suit against vdare says that the Brimelows eventually transferred the castle to another nonprofit that they run because they're trying to, hide all of this. And that nonprofit rents the castle out for public events, and then it pays salaries to the Brimelows. They're also accused of transferring the ownership of another structure on the same property to a private company that's owned by Lydia Brimelow's father. So, Attorney General James says they did all of this to shield their assets from the investigation, which they knew was going on in New York and an impending lawsuit. Because this group has been under investigation for several years, and the Brimelows, like I said, were well aware of this probe, they did all this, moving the pieces around so that not only so nobody would know what they had done, but so that if they do get sued, those assets are out of the reach of New York. But obviously this is all going to be hashed out, and so we'll see what ends up happening. vdare actually was sued by the New York Attorney General's office all the way back in 2022 because they failed to comply with subpoenas for records. So that, it's been going on that long. They've had that much notice. And then last year, Peter Brimelow apparently announced that he was shutting down the group's website and he was resigning from vdare. But vdare apparently was never dissolved. So the nonprofit is still in existence, and the Brimelows never asked for approval from the board, from their own board of directors, before they transferred those assets. So they purchased the assets, put them under vdare's name, and then never followed proper protocol in the law to go to the board and say, hey, can we transfer these assets so that we can hide them from Letitia James, from the New York investigators. So the Attorney General is asking the court to not only dissolve vdare, not the nonprofit group, but also they want to force the Brimelows to pay back all of the money that they took, plus interest. And they want the remaining assets then to be transferred to other nonprofits. So, yeah, just another alleged grifting couple, hating on hardworking immigrants. Well, they run out the back door with other people's money. I mean, such a shock that they're racist Trump humpers, right? I mean, let's scold and crucify and villainize and hate immigrants who come to this country looking for a better life and work their asses off and pay taxes and pay into the Social Security system, which is actually keeping it afloat because of mismanagement and, because we won't raise the cap on billionaires and millionaires to pay more into the Social Security system. Let's hate on them while we rip people off. Well, we don't actually work hard for our money. We just rip off our donors and use their money like a piggy bank. Yeah. How typical, right? Anyway, I'll let you know what happens. I'll keep you posted on this story. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please like, please share, and subscribe. Please donate if you can. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.